let's talk about something you are using literally right now, without even thinking about it. The alphabet. It's a pretty wild story, actually. It's about how a small group of ancient traders kicked off a global revolution with just 22 simple signs. I mean, really, have you ever just stopped and looked at these letters? These little shapes that we text and type all day long, they're thousands of years old. And their journey from the ancient world to your screen, it's honestly one of the most important stories in all of human history. And this right here shows you the huge difference we're talking about. Before our simple ABC, writing was a whole different ballgame. You had systems with hundreds, and I mean hundreds of signs. They were incredibly complex, and basically only a tiny elite group of people could ever hope to learn them. The jump from that to this, well, it changed absolutely everything.
Okay, so to really get why the alphabet was such a breakthrough, we have to kind of step back in time. Let's appreciate the world it was born into, a world of incredibly complex writing.
So think about something like Egyptian hieroglyphs or Mesopotamian cuneiform. These things were beautiful for sure, but they weren't just letters. They were these massive systems combining pictures, sounds, and abstract symbols all together. To become a scribe who could read and write this stuff, it meant years and years of super specialized, difficult training. And what that did was create a kind of scribe's monopoly. Writing became a tool of power, and only a select few held the keys.
And this is where our heroes enter the story, the Phoenicians. Now, these guys weren't scholars or kings. They were business people with a very practical problem that was just begging for a clever solution.
You see, the Phoenicians were the master traders of the Mediterranean. They were always on the move, sailing from port to port, making deals, keeping track of all their goods. They desperately needed a way to write things down that could actually keep up with them. Something fast, something flexible, and something you could easily use on the go. And that's the key right there. A merchant trying to jot down a receipt for a shipment of lumber doesn't need a beautiful, complicated script that was designed for carving on temple walls. Nope, they need something that just gets the job done fast. They didn't need more complexity, they needed less.
And this is the number that changed the world, just 22. That's it. Their entire revolutionary writing system was built on just 22 simple little symbols.
Now, the technical name for this kind of system is an abjad. And here's the brilliant idea. Each of their 22 letters stood for a consonant sound. That's it, no vowels. The reader, who already spoke the language, would just fill in the vowel sounds automatically from the context. It might sound a little weird to us, but for them, it was unbelievably efficient. And this just lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got hundreds of pictures that can mean objects or ideas or sounds. On the other, just 22 simple, abstract signs that only represent consonant sounds. It was nothing short of a radical act of simplification. So why was this so powerful? Why was getting rid of all those extra signs such a game changer? What did that actually do? Well, it set off this amazing chain reaction. See, fewer signs meant it was way, way easier to learn. And when something's easier to learn, more people can learn it, right? So suddenly, literacy starts to spread beyond just the scribes and priests. And when more people can read and write, communication itself just gets faster. And you can really see it right here. The barrier to entry for reading and writing with those old systems, sky high. The Phoenician system didn't get rid of the barrier completely, but it lowered it so dramatically that for the very first time in history, writing started to become democratized. So this new, simpler system wasn't just easy to learn. It was practically designed to travel. It was about to go viral, ancient world style. Remember who we're talking about. The Phoenicians were sailors. They were traders. Their entire culture was about movement, and their writing system was a perfect reflection of that. It was a tool built for exchange, for communication across huge distances. So as they were sailing around, trading things like lumber and textiles, they were also trading their most powerful invention, their alphabet. You can just imagine them in these bustling port cities, showing other merchants how this simple code worked. It was easy to teach, easy to learn, and, crucially, super easy to adapt to other languages. And that adaptability is so important, because the journey for those 22 little letters was really just getting started. In fact, that journey leads directly from them to you, right now. I mean, just look at this incredible path. The Phoenician script gets picked up by the Greeks, and they make one critical tweak. They add vowels. Then, that Greek alphabet evolves into the Latin alphabet that the Romans used. And that
That is the direct ancestor of the letters we use to write in English. The very letters on your phone screen have a direct family tree that goes all the way back to a Phoenician trader's notebook. It's amazing.
And that really is the heart of the story, isn't it? The Phoenician alphabet didn't take over the world because it was the most beautiful or the most profound. It took over because it worked. It was a practical tool that solved a real-world problem, and its sheer usability made it unstoppable.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? From something as basic as the wheel to, I don't know, the paperclip. How many other ideas that totally reshaped our world won out, not because they were complicated, but because they were just brilliantly simple. It's a pretty powerful lesson from a 3,000-year-old idea.